Cue, fifth frame. Ryan day to break.
Stephen Lee is the player responsible for that fine young prospect from Bristol, 19-year-old Judd Trump, not being here. He beat him in the last round of qualifying, 10-8. Trump, you may recall, reached the semi-finals of the Grand Prix in Glasgow in October, beating Ronnie O'Sullivan. And in fact led Lee 6-2 in their final qualifying round match before Lee recovered to win 10-8, making a very good clearance from behind of 59 to win the clinching frame.
Bit of local rivalry there as well, isn't it? Trowbridge and Bristol.
Well, Lee was mildly irritated by a lot of the publicity that Trump has been getting, not because he's got anything against Trump, but he didn't like the implication that there was only one player in the West Country who knew how to play. So it was a bit of a needle match.
I think he played to get behind that green. Maybe perhaps the cue ball more towards the bottom cushion. It's a problem shot, this. I think the best shot he could play, if you can get the long rest and the spider out, is take the cue ball off the top cushion where he's nearest to. He may be playing this. Drop dead weight on the two reds down to the right corner. The only problem is the distance. Cue ball's away from him. I don't know if he can reach it, and even if he can with all the extensions on, it's very difficult to see how far you are away from the white ball he's trying to strike. So could easily miss cue here or foul the green. He's a tall lad, Ryan, but he's not that tall. There you see how far the tip is away. He's taking it in a little bit closer. A little bit of wobble there with the, because there's no real stability when you put the extension out to its full. He's played it well though. Played it very well. Perfect. And as it's turned out, it's not an easy safety now for Stephen Lee to bring him back in trouble.
You may have heard Lee say, "Good shot," as Day extricated himself from that difficulty. Yes, couldn't do much there. If he moved one red, he was going to be leaving the other. To the left corner.
Purposely, I think. If the black doesn't go, it's a much tougher shot. He'd have to play out for pink. Have to play out to more pace. Ryan's not known for turning shots down though. That's why he's got so much confidence in his ability to pot balls, even under pressure. I'm not another look at the black, but if it's tight, then maybe better off potting the pink first and then taking the red out of the way of that pocket to clear it for the black. Wales' highest ranked player.
7. 8.
Above Mark Williams, who comes next, and then I think it's Matthew Stevens and Dominic Dale. Plenty of young ones coming through from Wales, though.
Yes, Michael White, Jamie
15.
Jones, Daniel Wells, who've all been helped by that great Welsh character Mario Burney, who so sadly died last week at the age of 80.
Yes, he was very good to me in the early parts of my career. I used to practice with him a lot as an amateur. He really had a hammering, but he was always helpful to me and used to practice when I turned professional. Learned a lot from Mario. Who didn't?
Knew a lot about technique and had a very pure love of the game, not based on personal ambition.
Going back to the theme of young Welsh players, of course, the Welsh Association run a lot of underage events now, which wasn't about years ago. They got under 14s, I think 16s and 18s. Gives the young lads who've got any ambition to move forward the chance to compete against players in the same age groups, rather than play the seniors, which you had to go years ago. That can discourage you a little bit.
22.
I remember playing my first competitive game, Clive, and the captain of the local snooker team and I was sitting down. Well, we'll come back to that unless the black goes in. It doesn't.
Ryan
That's
Day.
an unexpected miss there from Ryan Day. Had to play with pace, of course. But he would really be disappointed with that one.
Basic black off the spot.
1.
Could be a turnaround there. Sitting down a bit early, Ryan. And I was saying, Clive, the first match I ever played when I was a youngster, when I was 14, and the captain said, do you mind playing for the team we won short? And at 14, you know, you cannot believe that you're going to play for the first team in the local league. Well, as today, I mean, they're playing competitive snooker, you know, when they're old enough or to be honest, they're tall enough to reach the table, which is great.
And the standard is higher in the junior game than it's ever been. Century breaks, not uncommon.
Ideally, you'd like to get the black back on his spot. Well, pink goes past the green. Didn't look lit from the commentary box. Well, I look for 1 minute he doesn't get into that pack, then he wouldn't have been on nothing.
10.
Still not great.
11.
Could be end of break. Thin green or a very thin brown, the only pots available. Unless, of course, he wants to take on the long blue. So far in this match, he's been quite positive with his shot selection. More so than I've seen him for quite a while. And a good thing it is as well for him, I think. Well, he hit that quite well, that brown. That was a tough shot, and he had to play
15.
it with a lot of spin to avoid being off. Come round for the reds, and a little unfortunate. The previous positional shot let him down, though. Oh no, missed that by a long way.
50.
Didn't even threaten the jaws.
One.
Good shot from Ryan Day, though. Don't think he's left a lot of angle on the blue, but it's a good red. Good control of the cue ball. There's been a good mix here, Clive, isn't there? Some very good stuff, and well, quite a few errors thrown in as well.
Yes, and that was a positional error of sorts from Day. He didn't want to leave this as a slight cutback. Needed the cue ball out towards the blue another couple of inches, and that extra
Right,
degree of
6.
difficulty proved his undoing.
Yes. He's given himself a talking to again. He pulled that one to the near corner. As Clive said, position was the problem. Made that pot a lot more difficult than it should have been. Good red. No angle on the blue. But pink's a possibility. Tougher pot in the blue, but a chance to split those reds up. And well, he moved one of them anyway.
Well, it looked a certainty. He was going to move them all.
Well, on the replay, it showed that he just knocked that one out from the side of the pack, and the other four reds didn't budge. Now there needs to run a bit.
8.
Well, he may have the angle still to pot the pink and run off the side cushion and split the reds, but Stephen Lee is looking here to see if one of these reds pass. He didn't look before that, so he was obviously playing for an angle on the pink to open them out. And it looks for that red will go. The one on the top of the 4.
$40. 15.
Can screw into the bunch from the pink. Opted for precision.
Yeah. 21.
And in doing so has made all three of the reds in that cluster possible. Pity from his point of view that he's got to use the spider.
Okay. 22.
And always difficult to control position with a spider shot if you have to inject any pace. This pink is much thinner than he would like.
Played in such a way that he would have covered the pocket
28.
with the pink if it didn't drop in.
$29.
$22 in front. Another red
35.
pink would be 29.
36.
So he needs a good positional shot to get on this awkwardly situated last red. As it happens, he wasn't at the best angle on the pink,
42.
so that was the best he could do. Still going to attempt this red. It's frame ball, barring snookers.
Stephen Lee, 42.
Give the pocket every chance. He rolled it through. Thought it was in. The problem for Stephen Lee, he's left it on for Ryan Day. Any colour will do after that red. Gives him a chance to clear up and take a, well, 3-frame lead if he wins this one. Whoever loses this frame, Clive, will be terribly disappointed because they've both had good chances. And it hurts more, doesn't it, when you've missed your own opportunities.
It would be a more serious matter for Lee because it would put him 4-1 down.
4.
Day would still be 3-2 up.
6. Nine. $13. $80.
Pink and black still needed.
$24.
Lee missed the frame ball last red. Down the side cushion with the rest.
31.
Gray cleared up with 31 to increase his lead to 4-1. We'll have more commentary when the players return to the arena.
Thank you. Frame 6. Stephen Leiterborough.
Well,
Foul. Brian Day.
is that the worst break-off shot of the championship? Not because he knocked the green in, but because he came about 6 inches the wrong side of the blue.
There's another competition we could have, Clive. Worst break-off of the championship. I think in general they would have mastered the break-off by now, these players of such a high standard, but tend to leave reds on a lot of the break-offs. Wants to avoid the brown. Oh, we got a friendly little nudge now then. Oh, Ryan can't get through to the red. It's on the right side of the table. And it's very tight and the angle is the wrong way. If he pots it, he's going towards the side cushion rather than the bottom cushion.
Black not potable to the opposite corner.
One.
Good shot. Worst possible cannon on the blue. Could so easily have left it straight to a baulk pocket or left himself on a baulk colour.
Green ball. Stanley, 1.
So in the end, all that Lee was left from his good long red was a missable green with the rest.
I mentioned earlier, though, it's good to see him take his shots on Stephen Lee. I think he plays at his best when he's more aggressive. Well, he may get another chance. He's getting another chance. You can see this red, and now the black's available into the right corner.
That was absolutely basic. Shouldn't be missing those.
Well, we've seen some, I mean, really good shots, individual shots by both players that look for a while as if they're right on the top of the game, and then they're slipping in with a very poor shot.
1.
Here, for instance, what did he play for then? He played for the blue. He's well short of pace. So the rest is needed again. He's having a go.
Stephen Lee, 1.
That was poor. Not so much the blue, but the positional shot he played. He's suffering out there at the moment. Slipping behind by 3 frames early on in this match is not great. Okay, it's not the end of the world when it's first to 10.
1.
It doesn't help to settle you down out there.
The way things are going, Day's got a good chance to build up a commanding lead.
8.
So
9.
he could certainly do without any lapses of concentration, such as the one which cost him an easy red at his last visit to the table.
This is normally a very good front runner.
60.
The first round here at the Crucible is always tough. You've got a sort of long build up to it and focusing on what you're going to try and achieve here, and lots of practice put in the table. When you get here sometimes, you find a lot of the your mental energy has been wasted before you come here.
24. $25.
And Stephen Lee, of course, so not too long ago, played very well to beat Judd Trump, as we mentioned earlier in the last qualifying round. He would have been probably playing really well in practice and looking forward to coming back to the Crucible.
32.
And because of that, when you miss a few, Clive, it can knock you back mentally very quickly.
Not the best split that Day could have
39.
had. Couldn't have hit it much better. But still, a degree of luck required to give him an easy continuation.
I'm glad he changed his mind there. That was the wrong choice of shot. He was going for that red into the corner with the rest. That would have been out of disappointment of the split. That would have been a bad idea. Better choice that one. Taking the cue ball down to the safer area. Should he have missed the pot?
Ryan Day. 40.
Day was running away as he attempted the red. So if the red went in, as it did, the roll-up was always going to be his next shot. Lee 42 behind. If he lets Day in once more, surely that'll be another frame gone. An escape requiring considerable thought.
He's trying to flick off those two reds. He needs to be very accurate though, doesn't want to hit them full on. Just skim the edge of them. Half ball be okay. Take the white down towards the black. Well, he'll take that one. Not as played.
Still left a pot on to the middle.
One. Three. Yeah. Four.
Not a happy person at the moment. Not displaying any of the form he would have brought here to the Crucible from the practice table. I think it'd be fair to say Ryan Days hasn't been at his best
11.
either, but he's been the stronger of the two, certainly in the scoring department.
12.
Already sufficient to leave Lee needing
19.
a snooker.
20.
So Lee can see this match sliding away from him already.
$27. 28.
Well, that was an exhibition shot, screwing in and out of baulk. He would have played for pink normally. Nicely developed.
31.
Day's form is obviously there.
37. 38.
I think that if he keeps his concentration, the way things are going, he'll win this match quite comfortably.
38. The frame.
So, largely he breaks to 40 and 38. Ryan Day takes the frame and increases his lead to 5-1. Well, things started to go wrong for Lee in that frame with his very first shot, the break-off shot. Caught it very thin, came almost a foot the wrong side of the blue, not the green in. I suggested it as a candidate for the worst break-off of the tournament, but actually it's not, because a few days ago Graham Dott went in off from the break. So he won't have that particular distinction.
I think that was a worse shot than the winning off Clive.
Thank you. Frame 7. Ryan Day to break. Quiet with the sweet wrappers, please.
Oh. Players hate sweet wrappers more than a hubbub. If it's dead quiet and there's just one person rustling a bag of sweets, then it can blow a player's mind.
Which doesn't take a lot. Good attempt, but Like so many things that's gone on before in this match. Not quite.
One.
How good was that shot? I don't think he's on anything. I mean, so much power on top here. See, he's spread the reds all over the place. And he's trying to swerve around the red here to pot another. Wake up, Brian. Needs a good safety shot here. So disappointing when you play a shot, you know, as well as that and don't get on anything, but always beware of taking a risk then to try and keep things going. If he's got the shot on, he wants to clip off this red and off the side cushion. Down between green and brown would be his path if you can achieve that.
Ryan Day, 8.
Needed to avoid the green to cover red to left middle.
One.
Ryan Day is now sitting in his chair thinking the world's against him. Of course he's 5-1 in front at this time.
Six. Seven.
This is the sort of chance, though, that Lee must exploit heavily. 30 or 40 is no good. With the ball spread like this.
Yes, and a good break here, Clive. Could be the catalyst for him to go on and show some form and win the last few frames. And if, you know, 5-4 overnight, he'd be quite pleased with. It's a long way off, but should now lose belief.
Thirty. 40.
Perfect on the blue. Certainly not a great chance unless the black goes in one of the corners, which I don't think it does at the moment. Needs to get either the pink or black. Veil into corner
90.
pockets. Going back for the blue is not easy all the time.
$20. $25.
I didn't get the cannon he intended there, and it's a tricky little drop in red. Awkward bridging,
26.
but he's overcome that one. Nice angle on the blue, so. See what he plays here. Is it a cannon or a single red? Single red it is.
31.
What?
Yep. 32. $37. $38.
And we can see pink is clearly available in the right corner now. And into one of the centres. Still the reds are not ideally placed. This may be his last chance to get on the single red that looks available, the one to the extreme left of the picture. Well, he's looking now to play into the pink possibly. That's what he's looking at there. Cannon the pink full ball and leave the two reds available into the centre. Not sure if he played those reds. I think he played full ball on with the pink then. Still got a red on. Maybe able to bring the black into play here.
This cannon requires careful calculation, though.
$44.
Far from perfect.
Well, we've spoken quite a bit about his positive shot selections today, but I think he's trying to shut the barn door here. Black and pink are very difficult. He's 36 points in front, 5-1 down. Put the pink safe and play a good safety shot would be one of the options.
Yellow ball.
Yellow it is. He'd be pushing this safe on the side cushion, I should think.
Stephen Lee, 44.
Nudge the green a little bit close to the cushion as well. A good effort.
And a very tricky safety. Chinese snookered length of the table. So I'm not entirely surprised that
Foul.
he missed the thin edge.
Stephen Lee, 4. Yep.
He's pretty close to it though, wasn't he? You could see his reaction. I don't know about you, Clive, I used to hate these shots when you're bridging over like this and you've got distance involved between the balls playing for a thin cut. Bit of guesswork, I used to think it was.
Well, you can't be looking at the object ball at the time you strike. Anyway, no second foul, but that was because he miscued. And in doing so, has left Lee a chance to clinch the frame.
One.
He's missed some really good chances to win some of the
8.
frames. Surely you won't waste this chance.
9.
It could hardly have been more straightforward.
16. 17. 23. 24. 29.
The remainder of the action in this frame is only of academic interest.
30. 30 in the frame. Stephen Lee.
So Stephen Lee with breaks of 44 and 30 wins the 7th frame, but still trails by 5 frames to 2.
Frame 8. Stephen Lee to break.
Another dreadful break-off shot from Stephen Lee. 2 in a row from him. He took the cue ball the wrong side of the blue the frame before last. Had to swerve slightly to make a thinnish edge, but of course the side spin acted as check side, so the cue ball didn't get back to the ball cushion, and he's also knocked a red over a pocket.
One.
Ryan Day's cue's finishing up in the air then. He delivered it with so much pace and trying to get a lot of backspin on. He's okay on the blue anyway. He did need the kiss on that brown. He's out of position now. Red in the centre looks the only option.
6.
He wants to carry on scoring anyway.
47.
Well, the camera angle slightly deceived us there. So it turned out there was a thin cut available to corner.
Nine. Ten. Fifteen.
Pink and black still out of commission.
16.
Now there's a choice here. You can play the blue straight on into the pink. That may clear the pink spot. Open a few more reds. No. They didn't like the shot, or the angle wasn't there.
21.
More length on the cue so he can reach with a normal hand bridge.
$22.
Still not a great shot though. Needed to be above the blue.
He's regretting now he didn't go into the pink, I think, Clive. It's Ryan, normally the type of player, is always looking for the chance to open pink or black and the reds at the same time. He's got a long pocket though. He wants to be right at the pack.
27.
There's a gap between those two reds to come back down for the blue.
28.
That's better. Very good shot.
On the pin perfectly.
33.
Smack on the nose.
$34.
Black is still tied up, but once Ryan has potted this red, if you can get good position, you can clear the red above the black the next time, and it'll open the black up as well.
41.
Played for the pink then, slightly overrun it, but well, you can't play for that red now, but still in play, blue or pink. Pink is probably going to offer him the better chance of good position.
$47. $48.
Doesn't want to land on top of that red. It's just gone past it enough. Should be able to get some spin on now, which will help. He's played for the red next to the black, but it's not a good angle now. You can't just pot it and
54.
stay on the black. He's going to have to play a cannon of some type.
It wasn't a complex cannon, no. He was always hot favourite to be perfect on the black. Just needs this red then to leave Lee needing snookers.
63.
Yes, his mini revival has been stopped. He won the first frame of this session, then lost the next 5. But he won the 7th frame in some style.
70. $71. $78. $79.
Both remaining reds awkwardly situated, so it would be a good effort
86.
to make the century. And
87.
his chances of doing so have certainly been enhanced by cannoning that red into a better position.
$93. $94. $100. $102. $105.
Day has made this century very freely and confidently,
$109.
almost as if he was practicing.
$114.
Fancy positional shot for pink.
$120.
Attempted an even fancier positional shot for black.
Ryan Day, 120 in the frame.
The end result is a break of 120 and a 6-2 lead.
Final frame of this session, Ryan Day to break.
Damage limitation, now the object of the exercise for Stephen Lee. Hoping to trail no more than 6-3 going into this evening's final session. He was actually 6-3 down going into the final session against young Judd Trump in the final round of qualifying. Came through 10-8, so it can be done, but Lee hasn't played it this morning in any way to suggest that it will be done today. He'll need a big improvement this evening.
Well, a full-blooded attempt at taking that red then into the corner. He's been lucky, I think. That could have gone wrong. What's the pace he hits this now? He's hit it much too thick. The way it looks, if it could go into the pack, it just flicked the pink. Hasn't left an easy shot on for his opponent, Stephen Lee. Some people may say that he's earned the right to have some luck with the play he's put in this first session. Certainly being the stronger of the two. Going back to your point, Clive, that you made about Stephen Lee hasn't really produced any form here to suggest he could come back in the second session, but he can turn round. But I don't think from 7-2. But if he does win this frame, 6-3 is still in it.
That was a tough shot.
I think Ryan Day's been practicing a little too much with Mark Williams, who's an expert at dropping those reds in the centre dead weight. Just the one then so far.
One.
In an unorthodox manner, but they all count. They say you can make the most of your luck, and no more so here for Stephen Lee. 6-2 behind, he's desperate to win this last frame. These first round matches,
6.
best of 19 frames, split in 9 in the first session and 10 if needed in the second session.
7.
After this round, of course, it goes on to best of 25, first to 13, over 3 sessions. No, I don't think he's got the angle to drop the red
12.
in and stay on the black. That was a poor shot. He could have played for either of those two reds that we can see there. soon see if you can drop it in. If not, you've got to screw back for the blue. That's what he's playing. Always missable those, especially at pace with the rest in your hand.
But as is so often the case, it was the previous positional shot which was the real villain. Well, they're doing it all the time now.
Yeah. Don't often see that, Clive, do you? One each, more or less identical shot into the opposite corners, of course. Now then, will Ryan Day make a bit more of it than Stephen Lee did, just the 12 points?
Three.
That was Day's reaction after the fluke.
Four.
Well, again a poor positional shot, leaving himself difficult shot off the yellow if he's looking at that. The blue's a bit thin. Seeing a bit thin, he should pot it anyway, but it's his position he's thinking of. He struck that beautifully.
After virtually every screw shot he plays, Day smooths down the nap of the cloth and brushes away any chalk which may have been deposited from the shot.
Do you know why he does that, Clive? I can tell you. It's since he's had a snooker club and his father makes him brush iron the tables, you see, so he's trying to clean them with his hand. Kevin won't mess about his dad, I'm telling him.
So he's become a human brush.
Certainly brushes up plenty of points when he gets going, that's for sure. Needs to slow down a bit.
9.
Still had the alternative option of red to middle if it went wrong for this one.
10.
Picked up his pace and he's got a spring in his step right in the last few frames. He's like all the players here, they need a little time to settle down in the first round. Over the years we've seen
70.
so many shocks up here. I think we've only had 2
80.
seeds this year, Clive, so far lost. That's Peter Ebden and Joe Perry both yesterday.
Ebden beaten by Nigel Pond. Perry beaten by Jamie Cope.
I think the reason we see more shocks these days, Clive, is that players that's ranked 17 to 32, which have to play a qualifying round to play against the top 16, are a lot stronger than they used to be. As a matter of fact, it's all the way down the rankings these days. The players are much better than they used to be.
25. Yeah.
Very often the players in the group below the top 16, and I'm talking about going down to 50 or 60. They're very good players in qualifying conditions, the Pontins, Prestatin, but they don't bring their qualifying form to the main venues always. But in terms of sheer ability, the standard below the top 16 is extremely high.
Yes, higher than ever before, and probably will get better. Seems the players are improving year by year. Again, out of position then. Good pot in the blue. Not quite sure what he played for.
31.
There's one loose red there. He's having a look at the plant there in the middle. Don't tell you if it's straight on. I think it is. He's having another look. I think he's having a go at it. That'll be a bonus. I don't think he played for it.
Ryan Day, 31.
He thought it was on, and it wasn't.
Yes, he must have been very confident when he took it on. But as so often with those plants, the first ball he strikes can push the other one off its line.
1.
Well, had that gone in, surely Day would have gone on to clinch a 7-2 lead. As it is, he's left Lee a good chance of a reply.
8. Nine.
Which could lead to him restricting his interval arrears to 6-3.
Yes, but straight away there he slipped out of position on that red he just played and kissed another red towards the pink. Awkward on the black. All tests you out there when you're under pressure. These players are so used to keeping excellent control of the cue
60.
ball in practice.
7.
Not that.
$24.
Just checking the score, which shows he's gone 5 points in front in this frame.
25.
They do that just to see how many reds they need to get to a safe position.
In this case, he'll need them all.
32.
Yes, he's looking again, Clive. You're right, he needs them all, but he may have a chance here if he wanted to take the risk of dislodging that red away from the pink, but I don't think he's taking that on.
33.
Confident enough with his positional play that he can possibly get on it.
$38. 39. 44.
He's a red then, in any colour. Missed red like this earlier on, Clive, didn't he? In this pocket with the rest to win a one frame. Not this time, no.
45.
He's going to roll up to the pink or take on the blue. There we see the rest shot. Roll up it is.
Stephen Lee, 4-5.
If Day fails to make his escape, he would need a snooker.
Yes, the problem there, you had to hit that at pace. And when you do that and you're hitting straight into a cushion, it's difficult to judge the angle it comes off.
No miss because Day is now at the snooker's required stage, but a free ball because Lee can't hit both edges of the ball on the yellow. He therefore nominated green as an extra yellow.
2. Yeah. 4.
Day has been well on top this morning. A break of 120 in the 8th frame was a highlight.
11.
And even though Lee has won the last frame before lunch, Day remains
16.
a hot favourite to go through to the second round this evening.
16 in frame, Stephen Lee.
Ryan Day takes the opening session against Stephen Lee, 6-3.